What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you guys with my Super Bowl prediction video. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys continuing to tune into the channel. If you would like to donate to my channel, you can donate to my Cash App, which is the $ Jew Talk Sports. If you would like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you could also follow me at Jew Talk Sports. If you would like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, it is $2.99 or $4.99. But I really appreciate each and every one of you guys continuing to tune into the channel. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So like I mentioned, I do want to give you guys my Super Bowl prediction for tomorrow's game. The game will be played at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. This game will be played at SoFi Stadium, which is the LA Rams home field. The game is between the Cincinnati Bengals and the LA Rams. And in this game, I'm actually taking the upset. I do believe that the Cincinnati Bengals will win their first Super Bowl in franchise history. It's something special about the Cincinnati Bengals team. They remind me of the New York Giants team that was able to beat the 16-0 Patriots. They put me in the mind of the Green Bay Packers, the year that Aaron Rodgers won his one and only Super Bowl when they were a wild card team and they went on the road every single game, similar to the Cincinnati Bengals team, and was able to go all the way and win the Super Bowl against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I really think that that's going to be the story for these Cincinnati Bengals. I don't believe that the clock is going to strike 12 on them like for a Cinderella. I do think that this Cinderella story is not going to end. I do believe they're going to be able to win their first Super Bowl in franchise history. I do believe that the Rams are a more talented team. You guys know that I'm huge on defensive line and winning in the trenches. And the Cincinnati Bengals struggle on the offensive line. They don't really have a really good offensive line, but they have a really good defensive line. And I think a lot of people are overlooking the defense of the Cincinnati Bengals. Trey Hendrickson, the longtime New Orleans Saints defensive end, had a really good season this year for the Cincinnati Bengals with his first year in Cincinnati. He got a big contract when he came over from the Saints. Sam Hubbard coming off the edge for the other edge for the Cincinnati Bengals. And then on the inside of that defense, B.J. Hill and D.J. Reader is a really good defensive tackle. So I think a lot of people are overlooking how well this front seven of the Cincinnati Bengals play. And I think that they're going to be able to get pressure on Matthew Stafford and maybe cause him to throw an interception in this game, or Trey Hendrickson or Sam Hubbard. I really think it's going to be Trey Hendrickson is going to be able to come up with a strip sack fumble in this game and cause a turnover. But the Cincinnati defense, in every game this postseason, they've turned the opposing team over. Every game ended with them getting an interception, a game-winning interception, or a game-sealing interception. So I definitely think that this Cincinnati Bengals team is just a special team. They hit their stride at the right time. Joe Burrow, the quarterback out of LSU, he won a national title, him and Jamar Chase at LSU. And now these guys are teammates as well in the NFL. Jamar Chase is a special receiver. He's only in his rookie season in the NFL. He had over 1,400 yards receiving. He won the Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he's playing really, really well. So I really think that the weapons for the Cincinnati Bengals are kind of going overlooked. A lot of people believe the Rams will win this game because they're the more talented team and they're playing at home. But I think that the Rams have a lot of pressure on them in this game. I really think both teams have pressure because it is the Super Bowl. But I think that a lot of people, nobody expects that the Bengals are going to win this game. Vegas has the Rams as a 4-point favorite because they're at home. And a lot of people, from what I've been hearing out of the media, ESPN, First Take, and all of the different, media outlets, a lot of people are thinking that the Rams are going to blow out the Bengals because of the defensive line with Von Miller, with Aaron Donald, and those guys up front, Leonard Floyd, they have a really good defensive line and pass rush rotation with the LA Rams. But I think that they're going to be neutralized in this game. As far as I think that the Bengals are going to come out running the football and establishing Joe Mixon. And I think that they're going to keep the Rams off balance, and they're not going to allow them to just pin their ears back and get after Joe Burrow. Now, even if they are able to get after Joe Burrow, I've seen Joe Burrow in this playoffs get sacked 9 times in that second playoff game in the divisional round when they went up against the Tennessee Titans, and Joe Burrow was unfazed. He's a guy that seems like even when he has pressure all around him, he's cool, calm, and collective, like Joe Cool. He just sits back in the pocket. He keeps his eyes downfield, even when he's being pressured, even when he's being sacked. He never shows it on his face, and that's why I said his team reminds me of the New York Giants, because Joe Burrow reminds me a lot of Eli Manning as far as his mannerism. His mannerism. He really is really calm. He never really shows emotion. I think that was one thing that a lot of people slept on with the Eli Manning. Even though Eli Manning was just an average quarterback, I think Joe Burrow is a lot better and a lot more talented than Eli Manning. But Eli Manning was one of those guys where you never knew, based off of his facial expression and the way that he expressed himself on the field, whether he was under pressure or not. Eli Manning was always just laid back, always kept his composure. And that's something that I noticed in Joe Burrow. He's a very composed quarterback, never seems to get rattled even when he's under pressure. And I think that that's going to be huge in this game against the Rams. He's not a guy that backs down. Even after him coming back from an ACL tear from last year, I've never really seen a quarterback after having a significant injury, be unfazed with being pressured and being sacked and things of that nature. So I really think that Joe Burrow is a special player. And I think the weapons he has around him with T. Higgins, with Jamar Chase, with Uzama, who is his number 1 tight end that's coming back and is going to play in this game, and with the two-headed monster in the backfield with Samaje Perine and with Joe Mixon, I really think that those guys are going to shock. They're going to shock the world tomorrow and win their first Super Bowl. I do think that the Rams definitely have a chance to win this game, but I think that the Rams going to have a lot of pressure. Matt Stafford has been battling pressure all postseason, because this has been his first postseason where he actually won games. Coming over from the Detroit Lions, Matt Stafford hadn't had any success in the playoffs, hadn't won any playoff games. He was able to win 2 playoff games, one against the Buccaneers and then one against the 49ers to get them to the Super Bowl. But I think in this game, there's going to be a ton of pressure because the Rams are playing at home and because they're expected to win. I really think that those players, the Bengals are playing with house money in this game because nobody, thinks that they have a chance at winning this game. But I really think it's going to come down to Sean McVay's coaching in this game. If Sean McVay comes out throwing the ball, every single play and not controlling the line of scrimmage, not slowing down the pass rush of the Bengals, I really think that they're going to have to use Cam Akers and Sony Michel in this game, in the passing game and in the running game to slow down the Bengals. I think that the Bengals pass rush is really underrated. If you look at the way that they got pressure on Pat Mahomes, especially in that second half of that AFC Championship game, a lot of the times they were only rushing 3 or 4 players, and they had Pat Mahomes running for his life. So I definitely think in this game, it's going to be important that Sean McVay, mixes up the run and the pass, and he establishes the physicality. Because one thing I think a lot of people are not taking into account in this matchup is that the Rams are a more finesse team. They don't like to necessarily run the ball. They're a finesse team. They like to throw the ball all around the yard with Cooper Kupp, with Odell Beckham, with Van Jefferson and Tyler Higbee. They like to pass the ball a lot. And I think that could really affect them in this game if they allow Trey Hendrickson, Sam Hubbard, and that Cincinnati Bengals front to pin their ears back and get after Matt Stafford. I really think that it'll be a lot of pressure on Matt Stafford in this game if they don't establish the line of scrimmage and run the football. Now, like I mentioned, I do think that the Rams are a more talented team. If you look at the back end with Jalen Ramsey, they brought back Eric Weddle out of retirement at the safety position. I do think that the Rams are the more talented team as far as having the blue chip type players. But I think that the Bengals play as a unit. Even though they don't have those household names, they have a lot of misfit players, a lot of players that nobody wanted, like Eli Apple in that secondary, like Chidobe Awuzie, who's a guy who came over from the Cowboys last season. He's with his first in his first year with the Bengals. They have a lot of guys that are overlooked, but I think on the back end of that defense, the safeties for the Bengals, they're really good as well, sneaky good. Bates on that back end, and Von Bell, the former New Orleans Saints safety. Those guys are really good, and they're slept on as well. I think that they do a pretty good job of staying over the top and limiting wide receivers like they did against Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And I think in this game, they're going to do a solid job at trying to eliminate the deep passes and the deep pass plays for Odell Beckham and for Cooper Kupp. Now, I do think in the matchup between the wide receivers and the corners in the secondary, I think that the Rams have the upper hand. But I think that the Cincinnati Bengals have the upper hand when it comes to the front seven on the defensive side of the ball. Now, in the flip side, as far as the Bengals and their offensive line versus the Rams defensive line, I think it's the same way. I think that the Rams have the upper hand because the Cincinnati Bengals don't have a good offensive line. But I think in this game, how it's going to pan out, I really think that the Bengals are going to get out to a lead in this game. And I feel like the Rams, if they fall behind in this game, I think the Rams are going to start to panic. I think that they're going to abandon the run. And I really think that that's going to cost them this Super Bowl. Now, if the Rams are going to win this game, I think that they have to lead from the beginning. I think they're going to have to get out to a big lead and force the Bengals to have to throw the ball and not control the clock with the running game with Joe Mixon. But I don't think that that's the way that the game is going to play out. I really think that the Bengals are going to be able to control the clock in this game. I think they're going to be able to run the football to establish Joe Mixon in the line of scrimmage. And then I think that they're going to open up the play action with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and those guys. And I think the Rams will win this game. I'm not too sure what the score will be. I'm not big on doing score predictions. But I definitely think that the Bengals somehow, somewhere are going to pull this game out. That's just my gut. From what I've seen from both teams, the way that the Rams played in that NFC Championship game against the 49ers, and then the way that the Bengals was able to storm back in that AFC Championship game against the Chiefs in Arrowhead, which to me is the toughest place to play right now in today's NFL. I think Arrowhead is possibly a top 3 stadium as far as hard to play in. I think that the Bengals have went, I think the Bengals road has been tougher than the Rams road to get to the Super Bowl. With them going up against Tennessee and at Tennessee, who was the number 1 seed in the AFC, and then them having to go through Pat Mahomes, who had been they had won the AFC Championship game the last 2 years or the last 2 or 3 years. I really think that the Bengals are going to be able to pull this out. If you want me to give a score, I think the score will probably be Bengals 30, Rams 23. I think it'll be 30-23. I think the Bengals get out to an early lead. I feel like the Rams trail pretty much most of the game, and I think that the Bengals are able to hold on and get their first Super Bowl. The Super Bowl MVP, I think, will either be Trey Hendrickson, the defensive end, or Joe Burrow. I think either one of those guys will end up being the MVP of this Super Bowl. But I definitely think that it's going to be a good game. But I think that the Bengals somehow, some way is going to pull it out in an upset. But with that being said, this being your boy Jew. You guys let me know what you think of the video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. I'll holler at you guys. Peace.